Hello everyone, welcome back and Happy New Year. I know it's been a very strange one and I'm very disappointed that we can't all see each other, but what I've done is I've recorded this video to help you out with the maths lesson today. Hopefully you'll be able to use the information in the overview to find all the other tasks you need to do for today and try and get them done by the end of today. If you need to get in touch, of course you can always email me as usual through the normal way that you would to contact me if you have problems with home learning. So looking at the maths today, what we're doing is we're kind of recapping what we did before Christmas. You might remember that what we looked at was different ways of solving mathematical problems. We thought about somewhere we might draw a model, somewhere we might interpret statistical information, and somewhere we might work backwards, where we might use the inverse, which means the opposite. These are the tasks I'm going to want you to do, and I'd like you to solve all of them today. I'm going to show you how you can categorize them first, then we're going to do a few together, and then I'll leave you to do the rest, and you can let me know how we get on. So looking first at this one over here, we've got number 1. There are 2,400 newspapers in a box ready to deliver. Jenny and Joe take 550 each. Adam and Zoe share the rest of the newspapers equally. How many newspapers does Adam have to deliver? Now, while we could work this out, and I'm sure some of the best mathematicians in here will already have it, for this one, I would say this is going to be one where I want to draw a model. And the reason I want to draw a model is because there's a lot of numbers I don't yet know, and what I can do is I can figure out the numbers I do know and work them out. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to make a bar, and this is going to be 2,400. Excuse my bad drawing. I'm using a mouse. I can't use the interactive whiteboard since obviously I'm working at home. Now, we know that Jenny and Joe have 550 each, so that's going to be a smaller amount. Let's make that blue for Jenny and Joe. We're going to say that's 550, and then there's another 550 there. Just right in there, we've got 550. So you should be able to see how our model is starting to come together. And now I don't know, oops, I forgot my 0 here. I don't yet know what the others are, but I do know that Adam and Zoe shared the rest of the newspapers equally. This word equally is really important. That means that the amount that's left is going to be the same size. So let's do that. We've used red, we've used blue, so let's use green. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a 1, and then I'm just going to cut it in half with a line to make sure that's nice and equal. Of course, do we know what this is? No, not yet, but we could definitely work this out. This is going to be our question mark for now. So how are we going to work this out? Well, I'm sure some of you have already got your good ideas for this one. We want to figure out just what the green is. So let's first figure out what the blue is. If we have 550 and 550, we add it together, then what we should do is we should find that that is going to be 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is also going to be a 0, carry the 1. And then we're going to have the 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11. And then we're going to have the 1 there, that's going to give us the 1100. And of course I crossed out the 1 underneath. Looks a bit strange, but I'm sure you all recognise the method of column addition. So we know all of this is 1100. That's part 1. There's really going to be 3 parts to this question. Then we're going to say, right, if I take off what Jenny and Joe have, how much will be left? Well, if I take that off, I want to do 2,400. Take away 1,100. And this is a lot easier. I'm sure you can all see why. Because we don't need to do any regrouping here. So 0 take away 0, of course, is 0. And again, 4 take away 1 is 3. Whoops, that's a bit of a wonky 3. Let me rewrite that. And 2 take away 1 is 1. Okay, brilliant. So now we've got this green section here. This is going to be 1,300. And we're so close to having our final step. We've done addition, we've done subtraction, but we don't yet know how many just Adam has to deliver. Remember, we don't want to know what just Adam and Zoe have, which is what we have now. We want to know if Adam here and Zoe here have the same amount. Basically, how much does Adam have, or how much does Zoe have? The answer will be the same. So we're going to take this 1,300 and we're going to split it into 2. And of course, if we're doing division, what method do we want to use? The bus stop method. You can do this any other way. If you have a mental strategy, that will also help you. But the bus stop method is a good one, and I'm going to guess that none of you have done the bus stop over New Year, so it's a good one to practice. We can't do 1 divided by 2, so we're just going to put a 0 up here, and we're going to carry over the 1 to make that 13. Then we're going to say how many 2's going to 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. If you're counting along, you should see you've got 7 fingers there. That would be 14, but we don't have 14. So we're going to take one of those away, and we're going to say, right, we've got 6 lots. That's going to be our 12 there. If there's 12, of course, we've got 1 left over, so we carry the 1 there. And now we can say that we've got how many lots go into 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Of course, it's 5. Nothing left over this time, which means there's no lots of 2 and 0. And the answer is 650. So we know how many newspapers Adam needs to deliver. 650. You can do this as I'm doing it in Paint. It's better to do it on a piece of paper. I can't show you the problems and do it on a piece of paper though. If you have a piece of paper, pen and pencil, that will serve you well for the questions we have to do. Now moving on to the next one. A tray of eggs costs £7.68. Each tray holds 8 boxes of eggs. Each box contains 6 eggs. How much does 1 egg cost? Couple of ways to do this one. I'm tempted to do a model again, but I think that we should be able to do this one probably by working backwards, I think, because we want to find 1 egg. And what I might do is I might do a combination. I might work backwards while also having everything. I want each box holds 6 eggs. So I've got a box here, and it's got 6 eggs in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs in. Terribly drawn eggs, I know. And I don't know how much 1 box is yet, but I do know that a tray of eggs, which has how many boxes? It's got 8 boxes here. Do we see that? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lots of that. Okay, so I've got 8 lots of that. This costs £7.68. Draw my pound sign on there. Just put a line here so we know we're not getting confused. So I know that 8 times this is equal to £7.68. And I know that there's 6 eggs will equal 1 of these round boxes here. With me so far? So now what I can do is I can actually put these together, and I can take the 8 times here and move it down here. And now if I say 8 times 6 times the number of eggs, is, let's just see if we can make that a bit bigger. No, apparently not. Tell you what, let's just select it and delete it, that'll be quicker. Now I know that if I've got all of this, then what I have is, oops, I'm cutting some of my things off here. Well, 8 times 6 times an egg, that will equal £7.68 over here. So now, step 1, I'm going to get rid of all this so I've got some space to do it, is just to figure out what is 8 times 6. Of course, we can count in our 8s or we can count in our 6s. In this case, I'm going to count my 8s because the 8s is an easier times table. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. You can do it the other way, it'll still be 48. So we're going to say 48 eggs equals £7.68. How much does 1 egg cost? This is where we come to the working backwards, remember? So now we're going to take £7.68 and we're going to do the opposite, or the inverse of multiplication. The inverse of multiplication, of course, is division. So we're going to divide that by 48. And this could seem to be a very strange one because we don't usually divide by such big numbers, but it works pretty much the same way as it normally would. You'd say, right, how many lots of 48 go into 7? Well, none. So then we're going to carry a 7. How many lots of 48 go into 76? It can help you here to write out the 48 times table just a couple of times. So 48, add another 48 to it, get 96. I'm not going to do any more for now. This should be more than sufficient for what we need for this one, because we can say, right, we've got one lot left here, and then how much is left over? Well, we've got 76. Take away 48. Cross out that so that we've got enough. And now we can do 16 take away is 8. We've got 28 left. Okay, so we've got 2, 8, 8, 288. This seems really weird, right? But now this is where we come back to this bit where we're going to keep adding 48s to it until we basically run out. So this next one is going to be, if we add on 4 to it, then we get to 100, and then we'd have 144. And if I add on 8 to that, you should start to notice the pattern here. I'm going to have a 2 left there, and then we're going to have 192. Okay, now if I add 8, I'm going to get a 0. And then that'll be 240. We're now at the halfway mark. And then there'll be one more, which is 288. And convenient enough, we don't even have a remainder here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots here. So that means that 16 eggs, or sorry, each egg is 16p, I should say, and 48 eggs at 16p comes to £7.68. And you can check this. Now, if you're finding this division quite difficult, and it is difficult, you can do this in more steps. It does work, in which case what you can do is, let's just wall all this off. Whoopsie daisy. And scroll down a bit so we've got some space. Jolly good. Okay. What you can do here is, instead of doing the 8 times 6 and multiplying by 48 and dividing it, you can do your division, and you can divide it by 8, and then you can divide the answer by 6. So let's say we've got £7.68, and this would be really good if we want to know how much there was in one box, for example. If we know that a tray is £7.68, we can just divide it by the number of boxes, which is 8. You say, right, there's nothing here. Carry the 7. 8 into 76 goes 9 times, with a remainder of 4. How many times does 8 go into 48? It's 6. So we know there. Now that we've got one tray, sorry, let me just check. Sorry, not one tray. The tray costs £6. One box, I should say, costs 96p. And now, the great thing about this is you don't even need to do a decimal, but I'll do a decimal just to show it's the same thing. Now you just say, right, I've got 0.96 divided by the 6 eggs. They're in each box. And now you say, well, of course, there's nothing there. There's one lot of 6, goes into the 9 with 3 left over. And then there's 6 lots of 6 in 36. Just count them: 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. And so we've got the same answer. Got the answer here, and we've got the answer here. That one egg is 16p. Or if you prefer, £0.16. And of course that's how you might see it written down in the shops. Okay, finally, you might notice a theme here. We're going to interpret some statistical information, which means we're going to look at the number of people visiting various towns on the May Day bank holiday in England. And there's this table here. This means we're going to be interpreting some statistical information, not with any graph in this case. We're going to say, what's the total number of visits of Clover and Blarney? Very, very simple maths. We look at where Clover is here and where Blarney is, and just add them up because that says the total. So in this case, we'd have 56,578, and something they're looking to catch you out on is that you line up the numbers correctly. Remember, we need to have the place value in line. If you just added it here, you wouldn't get it. So I like to start at the end here to do that. For Blarney, you've got a 0 in the ones column, a 4 in the tens column, a 6 in the hundreds column, worth putting in the comma just to make sure they line up, like you would do with decimal points. Then a 4, in the thousands column, a 4 in the 10,000s column as well, and a 1 in the 100,000s column, and then you'd add them up. I'm going to leave that one to you because I know you can all do some addition. And then if you want the difference, the thing to know about the difference is the difference means subtraction. So here we'd find the number between Telsbury and Clover, and you'd want to say, right, what's the bigger number? In this case, obviously more people visit Clover. So for that one, you're going to want to say 56,578 take away number of people visit Salisbury, 20,468. For that one, there may be a little bit of regrouping you need to do. Try all of these questions, write them down or do them on a Paint document. If you do them on a computer, please screenshot it and email it to me at year5@longlands.hearts.sch.uk, the email you usually send it to. Or if you've done a piece of paper, please try and take a photo and send it there just so I can see your work. Good luck and let me know if you have any problems.